Hey guys, it's Lydia Benham with Whole Modern Parent, and today I have a special guest. I have Petra Colindres, who is our hello. How are you?
Good. I'm proud of you for getting my name right. So that was the effort.
Thank you. I really tried. No, it's a beautiful name. So we have Petra today because she is our newest course creator and she is our breastfeeding expert. She has signed up with us and we will be launching her new course, the Milk Maker's Manual. You guys, if you have ever had any questions about breastfeeding, this is it. I cannot tell you, I am a breastfeeding mama of two, but going through this course and building it with her, I've learned even so many more things. And I wish, even though I'm not having any more babies, I wish I would have known. And now I have the information to share with some other mamas. It's amazing. So thank you so much.
Of course. No, I'm just super excited to have been able to build this for everybody. And like you said, Lydia, so I'm Petra Colindres.
Mm-hmm.
So I am both a lactation consultant as well as a pediatric dietitian. I've been working in the infancy field, like the first 1,000 days, if you guys have ever heard that term, for going on 6, almost 7 years now. And so just, this first healthy starts for children are my life, like from pregnancy and breastfeeding. And I just see so many women struggle. And that's why I wanted to create this course, is to give them kind of a helping guide and a helping hand. So they have those best starts and they're just not looking on the internet, they're looking on Facebook. And sometimes you can find some really good information, but sometimes you need to get that professional subject matter expert. And that's where I was hoping to fill in the gap.
Yeah, and you did that. So as Pedro was saying, she wanted to fill in the gaps and bring some specific fact-based information to you mamas that are breastfeeding. This course is specifically for first-time mamas, second-time mamas, third time, all the mamas. And we
And if
have
you've ever had difficulty, come here. And you
yes,
never know, every baby's different, right?
exactly. Every baby is different. They really are. So tell us about what are the top benefits of this course? What are the biggest takeaways that you think the mamas will get from going through the Milk Maker's Manual?
Perfect. So one of the bigger aspects I did with creating this course is, and I've done a lot of courses, right, where I've watched a lot and have been present for a lot. And I feel that, working with mothers, they always highlight the benefits and how easy and do this and do that. And yes, absolutely, breastfeeding can be systematic and really easy, but there are problems that pop up that we can't control, right? So maybe something will happen during birth, maybe something will happen during labor, or something happens with the mom or the baby. I don't know, like things happen in birth that we just can't control, right? And so one of the bigger aspects I really try to concentrate on this course was kind of that troubleshooting, right? Like almost having that personal consult with a lactation consultant in the hospital, or with one, if you had a home birth, maybe after the baby was born, what would they say to you to make sure that you are successful? So I really spent some time on troubleshooting what is normal, what is not normal, because my ultimate goal with this course is to empower women to make the best choices for themselves and their babies. Because when it comes to breastfeeding and when it comes to, honestly, birth, it's a advocacy, and it's knowing what the best practices are so you can, you can make the best choices for you.
Yeah, so the Milk Maker's Manual comes with a troubleshooting section, that Pedro just mentioned, and it is fabulous. I hadn't seen anything, and I love how you separated it out. There's the troubleshooting for issues with the infant, and then there's troubleshooting for issues with the mamas. Tell us a little bit about the difference between issues with infants versus issues with mamas.
So a lot of times, issues with mothers, I'll start with mothers, because ultimately, talking with mothers, they always think it's their fault that they, maybe something happened. I
Yeah.
will be, yeah, I know it's always the mother's fault. I'm like, usually it's not. That's, I can name, I've helped over 1,000 dyads, which is insane for me to say. But, I could probably count the number of times on my hand that it actually was a maternal issue, right? It's always something else. But I did want to take some time with those maternal issues, like, what's going on, with the mother, to make sure that she is setting herself up for success. So we'll get in more detail when you take the course, but really looking at, oh, well, maybe this is happening and how I can fix it, or maybe this is happening and how I can fix it. So really looking at maybe those hormonal responses, maybe maybe feeling overly full, that or engorgement, how to make sure that everything is going correctly and you're not in pain, right? So that's really the maternal side. The infant side, a lot of things happen after we have a baby, right? Like, for example, I had two preemies myself, and it's crazy. And I keep on saying this, I was able to successfully breastfeed both of my premature babies. And it's because I was a lactation consultant before I was a mom. And I don't think that that's fair. Like, you shouldn't have to be a lactation consultant before you're a mother to be successful in breastfeeding, right? And so I was trying to give some of those tips, like, okay, if this is happening with your kiddo, maybe it would be a good idea to do X, Y, and Z. And of course, seek further help, right? It's not, none of this is in substitution for medical advice. It's just to make sure that you have the best tools to ultimately establish a really great milk supply, and then work with the infant or the mother as the cases may be.
So one of the things that I love about your course is that you address, and I think that this was eye-opening for me a little bit, and I think it might be eye-opening for other mamas, but the number one problem that prevents moms from breastfeeding successful is a lack of education. So what's going on? Why aren't we getting educated?
Gosh, I don't, that's going to be like
Is that a loaded question?
Let's all, let's grab some wine. We'll talk about it. Ultimately, I actually, was talking about this with another, actually healthcare provider recently. When it comes down to it, the breasts are kind of like no man's territory. And I say that with love, right? Like, the pediatrician takes care of the baby, right? The OB-GYN or the midwife takes care of the birth itself, and maybe the doula, making sure everything is good. Who claims the breast? And it's ultimately the lactation consultant, who you may or may not even see them in the prenatal setting, right? It's like, oh, the baby's here, this is how you breastfeed. And to be frank, that is way too late for you to actually even be talking with a lactation consultant. Again, I used to work in a healthcare system where I had to advocate, and I was successful. And hey, we need to meet with mothers during the second trimester. And this is why I really made this manual, because you need to have those tools now. You need to find your tribe. I mentioned that quite a few times. Find your either your healthcare professionals that are going to support you in your goal, your friends, your families, your relative members. All of that needs to be found in the prenatal setting. So if and when, believe me, things will go wrong. It's motherhood 101. Nothing ever goes according to plan.
Never.
Never, ever. But you find those people that are going to support you. And so that's really why, when it comes to why are people not getting that education, I think it's an afterthought for most people. And again, that's, if you talk to lactation people, breastfeeding people, and again, I hang out with them way too often, we're on the list of things that have to be done in a hospital or a midwife or, a birth setting. We are the very last thing on that list. And half the time they're too busy to deal with it. And so it's really sad, but.
So when like as an ideal consumer of your course, like what's the ideals? It's first trimester, second trimester. What would be like your perfect time to absorb this?
So I always like the second trimester, and I only say that because first trimester, if you're anything like me, you're sick the whole time. So it's like, I can't even,
true.
I want to pass out, and I want to just, third trimester is just a little bit too cool, close. I mean, to the birth, you're probably really getting into your baby showers, or, finishing the finishing touches on the room. Second trimester for me is that perfect time. That being said, can you buy this in the first trimester? Of course. Can you buy this in the third trimester? Absolutely. Can you buy this right when the baby's born? Yeah, just absorb that information real quickly. Yeah. Absolutely use it. But I really made this for that prenatal mom who really wants to get this information. That being said, if you have family members that you want to, maybe you don't know if they can be part of your tribe, but you want them to be educated, buy this course for them. Maybe your in-laws or anything like that. So they understand the process and they understand how they can best support you. And that's really what this course is about.
So another thing that is amazing that Petra does with the course is you really leverage your nutrition background, which is so cool in this. So I've never, and I've received education and some breastfeeding education through some more generic type courses before both of my births, but I never linked the nutrition component. And you're doing that with both the prenatal and the postnatal, and like what that looks like for milk production. What's the connection? Like why is that so powerful?
So again, when we look at prenatal nutrition, first of all, 100%, and it's hard for me too because I'm so in it. I'm like, well, to me, it's very apparent. but how we eat during pregnancy, how we are able to, put on weight appropriately, all of that affects our birth outcomes, which affects our breastfeeding outcomes. It's completely a domino effect or chain effect. So we have to look at the pregnancy. We have to look at the maternal health, and to look at how you're going to be successful throughout the lifespan. Beyond that too, again, working in the field and being such an advocate, and I have way too much passion for what I do. But even when we talk about nutrition, like, we are building a baby with the food that we eat, right? And so it's so important that we're getting the right things. Research is supporting that babies are getting their first tastes of food in utero, right? So we're building these ideas, these taste preferences early on in life that's going to affect them through generations. And so if we can have a healthier pregnancy, if we can prevent prematurity by nutrition, which you can never prevent 100%, but there is a correlation that if you eat well, you do well during pregnancy, you have so much better birth outcomes, you have so much better breastfeeding outcomes, just from looking at how you're able to have a healthy and happy pregnancy.
So is there like one thing, because outside of the education, which I really understand that, just going through my 2 births and the information that was given to me, there's a lot of discussion around prenatal vitamins, but not so much the lead up and like what helps with milk production and all of those things. I think I was blessed to be a little bit more of an overproducer. There's just me and my sisters.
Lucky people.
Yes, there's milk everywhere in our family.
Listen, I was like, I had to really, if I did not do what I do, I probably would be one of those women that were not successful. So.
Oh, that's amazing.
Two extremes.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And every woman's different, but is there something that seems like what would be like one of the largest things that gets misdiagnosed? Is it just like a woman being able to be confident in the breastfeeding by herself, or is it just having the support? Because I know you talk about using spouses as support and making sure you have your tribe and your network. What would you say affects women the most? Like, I know there's too many variables for you.
I'm trying to think, like, what do I think affects women the most? I think, again, linking to that poor education is not knowing what the expectations are, right? Okay. If you go to anywhere, honestly, anywhere really, the expectations for how a baby should feed is very systematic, right? Every 2 to 3 hours, X, Y, and Z. That is not how, again, we have tried to medicalize, sure, you know what I'm saying. We're trying to make a system, a robotic system of human being. And I think that is the biggest takeaway, is many women don't know what the expectations are, or what reality is in the breastfeeding or even the infant feeding world. It really doesn't matter. These expectations are going to happen no matter what. Mm-hmm. And because of that, there's very simple things that we can do. And again, that's why I created this course, to make sure that we're able to humanize our child, because we did just have a baby human, and read your child so you and your partner, you and your significant other are those people that are providing that support. And you make a really good, point too, bringing in the significant other. I really made a point throughout this course to make sure, especially at certain portions, that you do have that education. So both of you know, infant feeding is not just the mom's job. It is also, your husbands, your boyfriends, your girlfriend, whoever you have, that's also, you guys are a family together. And so we want to make sure that we are incorporating you all in this process.
And I love that, because I do feel like just how the information was given to me, and I think just naturally mothers do this, is we put all the weight on our own shoulders, and it's hard not to physically, because you are the only one with the boobs. So that makes it a little bit trickier, but I do agree it's a household thing. And we have discussions, and even my 3-year-old daughter, when she feeds her babies, she puts them under her shirt. So, there's a lot of, yes, we support the family feeding as well.
He's like, oh, I think Sissy's hungry. I think she needs a boo-boo. I was like, thanks, honey. I got it.
She does.
I'll fix this.
Was they also like, i.e. she needs to be quieted down? Probably.
I want to watch my TV shows without her screaming. I'm like, I would like to TV shows without anyone else screaming too, but that's fine.
Right. Exactly. So one of them, the phrases that I loved out of your course that I want to kind of leave with people is, and I thought you wrote this very beautifully, and I wish it would have been something that I would have been able to absorb before my kids as well. But I love how you say, yes, you can do it in regards to breastfeeding, but it will be hard, because I don't think that we all get the but, especially if you wait until the baby's here and then you have like the nurse just trying to do the latch, and then all you're seeing is just the two pieces of the nipple in the baby's mouth, and there's nothing else, but it is hard. And I think the more conversations like I've had with mothers and reading some of your stories and the examples of clients that you've had, I mean, it's hard. It's not easy for anyone. Everyone goes through something. It may not be the same something, it may be a different something, but we all go through it, and we go through it together, and we still get to the other side where we are happily breastfeeding our babies. So I do love that, and I think that just speaks to the core of how your course really sets up a mama for successful breastfeeding. You managed to touch on both the prenatal, the postnatal, and then how finding your tribe and figuring out your support system. And honestly, all the facts in the course are amazing. I didn't even know what milk was made out of, the percentages of fat and protein. It's amazing.
Well, let's sell the product and then let's teach you how to do it, right?
Yes, yeah, I know, you're right.
I mean, it really is. There's nothing like breast milk, right? And of course, feed your baby, but there's just nothing like it. And again, being in this field for so long, there's simple things that we as mothers can do. And that's why I made this course. These are the easy things that you can do to make sure breastfeeding is successful. And if we do those simple things and it's still not successful, here's your troubleshooting, and let's move on to the next fact. But at least I get you some troubleshooting, and then I'm really advising you reach out to that tribe that we've already talked about you establishing.
Yeah. That's yeah, and that's exactly what it is. The shooting part of this course is amazing. So Petra, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I think anyone who, this is a great gift for any mamas that that are expecting soon. Petra's course, The Milk Maker's Manual, launching soon on Whole Modern Parent. Look for it, and look for Petra at Maternal Guru. She has a lot of other services that she offers: one-on-ones, consulting. She's amazing. Nutrition, I've used her multiple times. It's been a pleasure knowing you and having you. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.